listen to this all day. Welcome to Life is Good. I'm Heather McKeown, your ever-loving hostess. And that was the William Tell Overture, and you all knew that. Anyway, guess who we have on the show tonight? Well, we have two wonderful people, and they're both here at Dunrobin in Newport getting taped. And this is Nathan St. George. He is running for mayor. But at the end of this show, you'll know more about him than you ever wanted to, because he's not only a politician, he's a jack of all trades, an honest man. He's got terrific ideas, and he's only 36. Unbelievable. So welcome, Nathan.
Welcome.
And then we have Brian Overshaw. Hang on for that one. That's going to be a wild one, too. Anyway.
It's great to be here.
It's great to be here. I'm glad you are.
Yeah, I am too. Got to wake up this morning, and that's the best thing you can ask for.
Oh, it depends.
So.
I didn't get to sleep. So I've been up for a day and a half. It's not really that great.
Sleep's not an option in my house.
Yes, let's hear about your house.
With the 4 kids and one on the way,
Don't you know what causes them, Nathan?
Well, there's a few things that happens to that, but that's a different tale, and we'll let the kids not learn about that today.
No, but I was wondering if you knew, because they keep coming. But that's all right. You're a good Catholic boy. And he's a member of, what is that group?
The Knights of Columbus?
Yes, and tell me about that.
Well, we're a big charity. It's worldwide. It's men-only charity, but they are incorporating the women a little bit.
Why? They need baking?
Well, no, I don't know exactly why. I guess they just wanted to feel like the men needed to do something for
modern society?
Yeah.
I have to tell you, if I had a husband and he was going out to meetings on occasion, I wouldn't want to go. I would say, night off.
Right.
So I don't know what woman is saying, I want to get in where my husband is, because to tell you the truth.
There's a lot of things that just get talked about, kind of budgets and things and what kind of fundraisers you can do. And we do our Tootsie Roll drive every year for the Special Olympics. And we do a lot of things for like the Steubenville students. It's a big school, and I want to say it's in Steubenville, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. What do they do there? Is that
it's a big Catholic college. So, they will help, not sponsor, I can't think the word now.
Well, neither can I. So
let's
help
donate money for them for their scholarships.
Right,
and
that's nice.
A lot of other things going on.
I'm asking you these questions because I want people to know that you are a family man.
Guilty.
And a fertile family man, I might add. And also a member of the community already, and you lived here for 4 years.
In Newport.
In Newport.
I was also in Derby for a year, in Holland for a year. So it's coming to be 5 years where I am right now, and almost 8 altogether up in Vermont.
And I would say
it's very nice up here. I wouldn't change it for the world.
But you will change certain things.
I would like to change some things. I notice, the city, it's not just here. It's our entire country. I've been saying this for years, like the country kind of needs to restart and rebuild. We're still a young country in comparison to the world, but we've already accomplished so much, and now it's a little chaotic where we are right now in society. And
what would you do to change it? What would you like to see change first? What's the most important thing?
Just everybody stop hating each other would be nice. I feel like a Miss America candidate or something right now. Oh, I want world peace. But in order for problems to solve, we have to get along.
Thank you, Nathan. Now, if you hadn't heard this, the city council is quite contentious.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when the mayor gets in there, he's going to have his or her hands full, keeping peace within the city council to get things done. Because you're right, without consensus, nothing gets done.
Right, and I don't know if I have the power to, if it gets out of hand or off topic, if I have the power to stop and divert it back to that. Cause
if you take the mayor's position, you create your own power.
Yeah.
You run it.
And
as,
I'm not doing it for power. I would like to see some things done. The community, though, being a handyman the last 5 years, you know, doing a lot of work in Derby and the old communities, I've actually had to rebuild a lot of these homes. So, you know, it's more than just the homes. I mean, you go down Main Street, not only is that crater big empty space that everybody shakes their head at and like, oh, what are they going to do? But, you know, there's several empty buildings, not just on Main Street, but near Vista.
I know.
You know, and now there's nothing filling them. Who's got the money to fill it? Nobody, or nobody has the drive to go there, or, oh, I can't go there because it needs too much work.
Well, what kind of business would you be wanting to bring in? And
Well,
how would you do it?
So I'd like to help, you know, maybe some community projects. I know other people in Newport and in the community that are also in the construction business. So it could help promote, build their businesses along with the community itself by having them, like the building right next to Needleman's that apparently used to be the old Needleman's. When we first moved up here, it's a large building inside. I'd like to propose that it gets fixed up and maybe have like a year-round flea market.
Ooh.
That, you know, say you wanted to have a yard sale, you pay your spot, and now you can bring your stuff there.
Those things are so popular.
They are,
I mean, that's
and
a
then
great
we
way to spend a
instead
week.
of, you know, the farmers market being a seasonal thing, it could be there too. So it could continue. I know several people that they make, you know, most of their living off of the farmers market, and it's only for a few
they
months.
make the jam and the pickles and everything.
Right.
I mean, in fact, I have to tell you a story.
Go on.
I bought 4 gallons of vinegar
Mm-hmm.
the last time I went to the store. And I cleaned with it. I've got a bed and breakfast, so I have to clean everything. So I left it out because it's such a small house that I have no pantry space, so I left it in my car. And I don't drive much, so today I got into my car.
It exploded all
It had
over your car.
exploded. It
Oh,
had
no.
exploded. And I got in and I went, oh. So when I got out, I felt like, I really am a pickle. You know, it's like I walked in and I had to do an interview with somebody, and I said, do I smell like beets? And they said, well, what is that? I said, it's eau de vinegar. It was in my car.
Well, at least your car's sanitary. You know,
It sure
vinegar
is.
is very good for cleaning.
Who knew?
Um,
Anyway, I don't know how we got on this subject. I'm such a bad interviewer, but
That's okay.
talking about flea markets and
But I mean,
pickles,
yeah,
because I
well,
can wait year round.
it could be, you know, there's so many things that we can do. Like, I'd love to take Prouty Beach and turn it into, you know, kind of like a miniature J Peak. You know, they've got the sledding hill that they've done the last couple of years, and, you know, so, but you go down the hill. I've gone down several times with my kids. We do it we do it every year since they started it, and you hit a couple of bad bumps. So, you know, there's sometimes you don't want to get up. So
Nathan used to be 7'4". He hit a few bumps along the way.
Right. The kids took off a few inches on the bottom there, but the getting back up, some people don't want to go back up that hill. So maybe introduce a little pulley system to go bring you back up. And then, you know, they've got a large bathroom and changing area for the summer. They've got the beach, you know, which needs a little bit of cleaning, you know, especially the lake. I would love to go down there in a submarine of some sorts and just see and take a camera with me, obviously,
Well,
just to show people, like, when they're going down to go look at the old Titanic, you know, that kind of view of all the possible, you know, snowmobiles and trucks and bikes and
there's Grandpa's fishing tank or fishing shed.
yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of it down there.
Well, there's not a whole lot of clarity in that part of the water, but wouldn't that be a nice idea?
It would be.
It'd be so much fun.
It would be, and it would open a lot of people's eyes to the environmental problem that's going on in there.
Okay, now I'm going to ask about that. Now, since I've I was working on the Northern Star. That's where I met you and your wife.
Yes.
And what a lovely couple. Anyway, it's part of an educational program. The Northern Star is a nonprofit that is educating school people and adults on the lake.
Right.
And the scientists come from UVM, and we have all the equipment, and everybody does testing of the water, and that's a very big eye-opener for the students. But once we were on the stern of the boat, and I said, "What is that smell?" And they said, "Take a look." And raw sewage was being
poured into the lake.
Hundreds of thousands of gallons. I don't know how to count gallons, but obviously, unless it's vinegar, I don't count. But it was, and pouring out. I said, "Well, why is that happening?" And they said, "We don't have the right infrastructure. Nobody's doing anything about that."
Yeah.
You'll have to start there, Nathan. Getting the money to go to the fixings.
And it's a big road that has to be treaded. And this city is not going to turn over like that. We're looking at maybe 40 years to change things around. In my estimates,
Do you have any concerns about Casella? Your dad lives in Coventry.
Well, they do take in a lot of waste from the county, and it's not, and even beyond the county.
It's only 7% Vermont garbage that goes in.
Yeah, it's hard to think that we're taking in garbage from other states.
How generous of them.
Yeah,
to give it to us.
Give it to us. Why not?
Well,
sure.
Would you try and spread that around a little bit?
Yeah.
Share the
Here, I'll take some here and put it over there.
No, I'm talking about kind of saying, "Excuse me, Casella, but we'd like to split you up a little bit."
Yeah, I mean,
that way, when you have a pretty beach, you'd have a pretty beach.
Yeah, it's I ever since I was a little kid, I've always, anytime I see like a garbage can that's half empty and piles of garbage just right around it.
Yeah.
Because, somebody's either too lazy or a bad basketball shot because, and then they're still too lazy to go walk over it. Like,
do you pick it up?
I pick it up.
Oh, high five.
I pick it up. I can't tell you how many masks I've picked up since COVID happened. Well, let's all wear masks.
I haven't had to buy any because I just find them on the bike path.
Rip it off and throw it out,
Yeah, I know.
Now you're done with the store, you don't have to wear a mask
anymore. It used to be just
anymore?
McDonald's and Wendy's that you see all over the road.
It's everywhere.
Now you see masks added to that.
And there was a lady that passed away several years ago, McKeown. I felt so bad for her because she was like bent in half.
I knew her.
Sweeping the streets, and it was great to see somebody doing something like that. And the garbage in the area isn't as bad as a lot of other places, but that one piece will generate more. Yeah, it'll grow on its own somehow.
We should have to talk. My next guest is Brian Overshaw, who started his own trash business. He's called the Trash Man. We'll talk trash.
Well, that's good.
We'll do trash talk.
Maybe we can figure out something better with the city. Talk if I do become mayor, can work together on something like that.
If you surround yourself with people who know what's going on,
right.
And they say there's no good leader who doesn't have better people than himself surrounding him or her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And-
that's absolutely true.
And
But
that's why I'm not a leader.
I mean, it all
It's not a leader.
it all takes just one person to go and pick up the garbage and walk that 2 extra feet to put it in the trash can.
Well, we were talking also about the generational laziness and lack of coping skills and what you're worried about.
Well,
And as mayor, you could, with the things you're proposing for outdoor activity,
yes.
that might help that generation that is now just texting and looking at their iPads.
Now, I am currently raising 4 children, soon to be 5, and they love playing outside, don't get me wrong, but they also love the cell phones, and all of them. They all know how to navigate the cell phone, the TV, it's crazy, amazing. My 3-year-old all the way up to my 8-year-old, they they'll fight over it. They'll fight over a phone. You know, no, it's my turn to watch videos. Or, you know. And
So what do you do about that?
we usually take it away.
Fantastic.
If they're fighting over
That
it,
is good
yes.
parenting.
You know,
Do you have any children, Brian?
I do.
How many?
I do. I have two of my own biological, and I have a stepson that's mine.
Yes, well.
A 9-year-old, yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Oh, 9.
At 9, 15, and 22.
Oh, so one of them loves you.
Pretty good range.
Yeah, I
my,
love that.
my daughter's my little mini me.
Oh.
She's the middle 15.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, but yeah, with being in the digital age, you know, I grew up with no computers. I was poor. Yeah, I still am.
I'm just old.
You
We
know,
didn't have them. They weren't invented when I was
We
young.
we didn't have computers but my grandfather did actually work for Texas Instruments and helped design one of the first home computers, which is great. I mean, we know that the government's the guinea pig for any kind of technology before we get it.
Actually, it's the guinea pig for a lot of politicians, too.
All yeah,
It's like, well, let's
medical,
break 'em in there.
all different types of things. But you know, growing up without the technology, you know, we didn't have cable, we didn't have a computer, we didn't have that. We had, you know, and you know how that's like. Let's make our own fun.
We had a blast growing up.
And don't get me wrong, I love playing video games. You know, it's you need some sort of escape from reality every now and then, and that was mine. And the martial arts that I took, you know, those were my two go-tos.
You're a black belt, aren't you?
Second degree in out of 10. There's 10 degrees in Uchi-Ryu, which used to also be known as Shohei-Ryu, and before that it was named after Master Weiji, who created the style Weiji-Ryu.
Do you want to give us a little demonstration? I can move the camera.
Well, I mean,
I could. You do it and I'll film you.
maybe, some other time.
Okay.
I got to stretch a little bit
You never
first.
know how strong you have to be in those council meetings.
Yeah, my old bones can. Well, unfortunately, I have arthritis in throughout my entire body, and it's very, very painful some days. But
Is it worse at night?
not exactly. No, it doesn't exactly interrupt my sleep, but you know, that's neither here nor there right now. But with the whole mayor thing, I really think that with a fresh perspective from an outsider, I guess you could say, because I'm not a born and bred Vermonter. I was born in Rhode Island at home in West Greenwich. Then my parents had gotten divorced. I lived in Massachusetts, and then I bounced back and forth between Mass and Rhode Island several times, different apartments. And then my wife and I decided to move up here because my father's up here. It's a lot nicer, it's safer, it's more beautiful, less stress, you know, compared to where we were living. You know, here you can see house, but, you know, 5 out of 10 are single family homes. Massachusetts and Rhode Island, you see house, and they're all 3, 4 apartment complexes.
Yeah,
Very few people have their own homes.
I know. And now
You know?
nobody can afford them.
And if they do, it's a big condo complex. And, you know, condos, they may be yours, but they're not yours. You know, you still have to answer to a board and pay dues. And
I know. You should have seen me try to get my apartment when I was living in New York.
It's-
I've always lived here, but I mean in Vermont. But well, at least the last 38 years or so. But when I was working in New York, we share in the airlines. You have crash pads, so they're anywhere from 48 people, you know, on 3 floors, 6 beds to a room.
yeah,
And you can do that for just so long.
Yeah,
And then 5 of us got a brownstone, and we each had our own room, and it was just about as cheap as having 48 people because we had a good deal.
yeah,
But then we all needed our own place.
right.
And you had to be interviewed by the board. I think, I live in Vermont. Why are you talking to me like this?
yeah,
Why are you talking to me like this? And, you know, I said, I'd like to plant flowers in front. And they said, oh, no. You'll need a consensus from everybody in the building. I said, okay.
to plant flowers.
So I said, let's build a garden. And we did. And we had such a blast.
And
I'm
that's
still in touch
good.
with them. But everything has to be was it vigilante?
Right.
Not vigilante, that's the subway.
No.
Order, controlled.
Yeah. And so,
I
like
love
I
it
said,
here.
with condos, you have all the opportunity and power to do whatever you want inside the house. But all the outside of the houses will have to look the same. And it has to be that, okay, we're painting them all red now. You have no choice. But...
Oh, that's why you love it here. Because nothing is suburban.
Yeah. No, I mean, the city I grew up in was about as developed, maybe a little bit more developed than like Burlington. So if I were to move into Burlington, I'd be right at home. It wouldn't... I like my space, I'm not,
Well, I don't see anybody living in Newport or anywhere in Orleans County who doesn't need their own space.
Yeah.
And we have very little senior housing here. We've just lost our other senior home.
I know.
And a lot of the seniors are being schlepped over to, say, Johnsbury because there's nothing here
where
for
they're going to
them.
be overpopulated now. Because...
Here's a man who's having his 5th child. He's talking about overpopulation. Go figure. He's a
Yeah.
I'm
politician.
also from Massachusetts.
Are you really?
Yeah.
What part?
Springfield, Mass.
Okay.
Okay.
I was born here in Vermont, and then my mother moved to Massachusetts when I was an infant. So
Yeah.
I spent most of my life in Mass, and I moved here in 2017.
So you're about
Welcome.
an hour north of where I used to live in North Attleboro.
I know North Attleboro.
Yeah.
That's right. Is that right on the border?
So, okay, when you have Rhode Island and Connecticut, and
Yep.
you know how Massachusetts goes down into the Cape?
Yep.
That corner on the map where Rhode Island meets Massachusetts, it's like literally right on that corner of the map.
Oh, it's a perfect location.
Yeah,
Except it's not Newport, so it's not.
Right. But I'd love to see more things for people to do. And, with one of the buildings with the building that I'd like to build in the crater, if we can get it back for the city, because if it goes into state hands, we're going to lose out even more, because I've been told that the building with the DMV and the college in there, the city doesn't make any money off of that. They don't.
No, it's a government building.
Yeah, so the government's not paying the city any kind of.
Well, you had some
taxes
really
or-
good ideas for that.
But-
What was the?
So underneath Main Street in this crater, after it gets all cleaned out, and there's a nice solid partial concrete foundation that we can build off of, even if we have, depending on how structurally sound it is, we can put a parking garage in there. We're talking about, so I have already measured it. It's 250 feet by almost 300 feet long along Main Street. And then it's an L shape. So and then in the back, it goes about 40 feet. So you've got another.
How many cars can you fit in something like that?
I estimate you could probably make 100 to 150 car spaces in a 2-floor parking garage that size.
And then you charge.
So my idea with that would be, anybody who lives in the city can get a sticker and put it right next to your.
Would we have to pay?
I've been mulling that over. I mean, maybe just a flat rate, one-time sticker, or just free, because you're going to get to park there anyways.
Free. And
With this sticker,
if you have
it
skis on your
shows that
car-
you can park there for
If
free.
you have skis on your car, it's $1,000. But if you just walked over with your
And
shopping
then-
bag, right?
Then anybody who's not a Newport city member or resident can, or member of the college, because they could use the parking too, even though they do have their own parking.
And that's underground. So
I believe so.
So on the ground floor, yeah, and
I've never been inside that little parking garage inside there. Like you have to have
have you
a
ever
special.
been in a parking garage?
Not in that one underneath.
Is it already there? No.
No,
Or you have to build it.
There is but I'm saying
But okay, and then on top of that, the first floor at eye level, what would that be?
So now I'm proposing something. I've heard that YMCA won't even touch an area like this because there's not enough revenue in it.
What, we can spell YMCA?
Exactly. Of course we
Could we
can. I
qualify?
just did. I mean, the Village People just have a great song about it.
I love it. Want to do it? Yeah, never mind. YMCA.
Okay.
I love that song.
But
I'm a terrible interviewer.
so everything that you would find at a YMCA would be like a private business for somebody, you know, like a gym and then a basketball court. Or some of it would be still city, you know, because we would have the property. But, you know, I wouldn't want to see a property like this change hands. You know, it would be nice for the city to create the revenue instead so we can continue to build the rest of the
And you'd be
city.
open to anybody who suggested other kinds of ideas to make revenue.
Absolutely.
It would have to go to something that would be very profitable for the city.
Right.
So that the rest of us wouldn't have to pay for it.
And then, you know, and like I was telling Pam earlier, I've been asking people, like, what would you build there? And I've heard several different things, and it's come down to basically 5 options: parking, residential, commercial, office space, and
Daycare?
well, daycare could go in there too. It could be on the second level, or even on either the first or second level are going to be some sort of shops. But I figured the first level can be, you know, there used to be an IROC, and that would be nice if we had something like that right on Main Street that people, you know, people want to come to. So, and above that, we have shops that say you want to sell your paintings in a little, and you have your own little shop there, or even set up your studio.
Well,
I know you do.
It would be available to so many people who would need to do that.
Right. And then above that, we would put office space. You know, how would you like to pay $100 a month for Wi-Fi and electric included in your rent so you can do all your office work in, you know, a 10 by 10 room, and you can look out on, you know, not all of them are going to have windows, but, you know, and then so above that we put housing, and on the roof I think, you know, some flower beds all the way around the perimeter, so for a community garden, some kind of, you know, swing set, sandbox, something for the kids to play on, some park benches, all different things for people to go and do something. But it would be great to have all that.
The thing is, the options are myriad. There's no stopping any option except for finding the investors at the right time. The receiver has this property now, so we don't know. We just don't know what to do. Pam Ladd she knows everything about what goes on in town, and I'd say your best marketable idea, your best marketable thing, is your enthusiasm,
Right.
and your belief in building community.
Well,
And this is the second interview I've done today about building community. And I don't know anybody else in town who wants it more than Rick DeRoche. And he loves new businesses, and he would, you know, if you ever get to be mayor, I know you'll work well with him. And if you don't get to be mayor, I hope you get together anyway, because he and you and other people with community building skills don't have to be a mayor to get it done.
Correct.
We have the population.
We do.
And
it's growing.
And I'm an introvert. You know, I have to force myself to go anywhere. And I'm basically a very lazy person socially. But I know that for the good of me, I have to do something social, or I will atrophy in the head.
Yeah.
And so that's a forced situation for me. But a lot of people love to get out and be out and do things.
I like talking to people.
Yeah.
You
There's
know,
probably dozens of contractors or developers that if you got with them and told them some of your thoughts and plans, you can get some people together, investors that would say, I think that's a really good idea.
Right.
And you know, the developers where it's at, those are the guys that have the money.
And they have
you have the dream and you have the know-how, and you get your people put together. These are the people that are gonna.
Right.
Say,
Don't go to anybody named Quiros, okay? But this is so true. I think if you build it, they will come.
Right.
And I think if you've got there's a sign over the door to this house,
Mm-hmm.
and it says, "I dreamed a dream, Dunrovin," which is the name of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And I published a newspaper for 30 years that went to 28 states and 4 countries, and
Oh, wow.
guess what it was called? The Optimist.
Huh?
I don't know what I'm doing when I start a business. I just believe in the idea.
Right.
And people fall in behind me, and I never have started a business with my own money. People just flood in and say, "That sounds like a good idea. If you do all the work, I'll back you." And
I wish I could have had that.
you will have that. You're young.
And I've built my company where it is right now all by myself with no loan, no. It's a big gamble to do something like that. And
For
I've
sure.
taken my basic tools that I have, and I've been increasing my amount of tools. And 5 years just passing out business cards is.
It beats
I've
5 years
been-
just passing out.
Yeah. And I've
But you've done a few
created.
jobs for me,
Yes, I have.
and I've got to say, enthusiasm. It sells it every time. And I believe that no matter what happens with the election, you're 36 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Your future is
Only beginning.
infinite.
Yeah, it's only beginning.
And with these ideas for Vermont, for our area, get people behind you, like you said, and all will be well.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't get to be mayor, that's fine. But I'm still gonna try and push my ideas into people's heads
Well,
so
that's
that
never stop.
that
people
they
need
can,
People need that.
maybe they can do that. Maybe,
Definitely.
I
But-
like to make people scratch their heads and think.
Well, I can scratch my head. I try and think. But listen, Nathan, whatever happens, I think you're an amazing young man,
Thank you.
a dynamic, energy-filled fellow, and you're good for Newport.
Yeah, well, let's rebuild Newport together.
Okay, give me a hug.
Sure.
Oh, that's how I kick you off the
Absolutely.
show. That's
Well,
a
no,
good-
you have someone else to.
I know. Thank you. Stick around. Are you going?
I will sit and listen. Yes.
Okay, throw
Let
in
me
some
just get
ideas.
A little bit more water here.
I'll send. I love this music.
Yeah, I forgot what they call it. Oh man, there's like tap. So they used to play.
Oh yeah.